So one of the first things that people see when they get into Acrobat or they are dealing with Acrobat, I even got this from my mom. Why would I need to use Acrobat? Because I know how to make PDFs. And my response is, sure. Do you? Really? Well, yeah, I can make something into a PDF. It's like, can you control how the PDF looks? Oh, can you? And the answer is, yes, you can. So obviously there's more to PDFs than just what meets the eye. One quick little caveat, though, for those of you that haven't taken my classes before, is I talk really fast. So Kenna and I had discussed beforehand, if I'm talking too fast, you need something repeated, feel free to go ahead and let me know that. More than happy to go ahead and do that because I get really excited about teaching all this stuff. So the New Yorker inside me comes out and I start using hand gestures, talking really fast, and then the jokes go downhill from there. So that's that. Starting off with this, I was talking to my mom and she said, well, I'm trying to do this presentation in PowerPoint and I've got these images and I've got 63 images in there and then it crashed and I couldn't get it back and it takes hours and how do we make something that can really be easy? And so I said, Mom, how about in 5 minutes we'll go ahead and give you a great presentation in Acrobat, PDFs, all this great stuff. And she's like, oh, you can do that? And I said, no, but I'm sure I can find out. That was Wednesday. So I've read the book since then, and I think I know what I'm doing now.
I miss you talking about your mom. Oh,
well, we have some pictures of my mom's
Awesome.
work. Yes. Absolutely. And I said, this will be perfect because I can just do it on screen, Mom, and we'll get it all done. And she's like, oh, that's great. Okay, first and foremost, we're using Acrobat 10 here. We are going to be using InDesign as well. InDesign CS6 has added a lot of interactive features, so we are going to be using those in conjunction with each other, mainly this morning and a little bit after lunch. We will be sticking directly with Acrobat. Quick little run through on the interface of Acrobat. If you've used other versions, the menus were extremely heavy before. They are now exceptionally light. Everything else is going to be over here on the right-hand side, basically under our tools, commenting and sharing right there, pages, content, forms. We're going to stay pretty much in this area throughout Acrobat, as well as a few little things up here in the toolbars right there. But basically, everything we're going to access is right from here. So first and foremost, getting started, how do we go in and create a PDF? Well, there is no file new right here. You'll see there is no just new here, make a PDF and I'll do something with it. For those of you that have always wondered what PDF stands for, it stands for Portable Document Format, which means you can basically write virtually anything out there to be made into a PDF. So that anybody that has Adobe Reader can just open your PDF regardless of where the actual original file came from. Well, how do we get it into a PDF? Well, if you use any of the Creative Suite, you can save it as a PDF, you can export it as a PDF, which we'll show you. If you use Microsoft Word, there's plugins, you can print to a PDF. But what most people don't realize is when you print to a PDF or create a PDF, how do you have control over what it's going to look like? Well, here, let me show you, okay? So when we're starting off here, you'll notice under the File menu, we have the Create section. And with this, we can create a PDF from a file, screen capture, scanner, web page, clipboard, combine, spindle fold, mutilate, whip, slap, rub down, shape, pluck, moisturize. We've got everything here. So if you want to go and create a PDF from a file here, sure, you can go under the menu and choose PDF from a file, which is Command N. For those of you on the PC, that's going to be Control N. And PDF from a file. Wow, okay, well, what kind of file? Well, basic files, actually. And if I wanted to go in and create a PDF, I can create it from PNGs, GIFs, TIFFs, JPEG files, basic text files as well, a whole bunch of different things. I can't do things like proprietary things. I can't go in and open up an Excel spreadsheet in Acrobat and have it convert. I can't open up an InDesign file and have it convert right through Acrobat. So there are some limitations. So just to show you how we can go in and create it from a file here, I'm going to go to a file where I've got some JPEGs right here. And I just went under File, Create, from File, and I'm going to select a JPEG that I want to just turn into a PDF. So I click this, I open this, and oh my gosh, I just turned it into a PDF. How did that happen? Well, I don't like boring pictures or anything else, so we were flying around West Seattle when we had this really weird tide last summer. So we got some really cool shots, and I thought, okay, this would be fun to put this into a quick little PDF. So I just made this into a PDF, just simply by going into the File menu, Create, PDF from File. And if you can read the files here, and you want to see what kind of files you can open from creating a new PDF, here is your list. We're in the Open menu, we're showing all the files, and these are all the files that we can go ahead and create from. So if you have files in this format, really easy to go ahead and create just by going under the Create New File from PDF. Now, that's all fine and dandy. I'm going to close out of these real quick, because here's my favorite way of going in and creating files from a PDF, the easy way. I like to show you the hard way first, because the easy way then just is so much more fantastic. So I'm going to go into my folder here, and I want to create a PDF of all of these together. So I'm just going to go in, select absolutely everything, and instead of going in through Acrobat, I'm actually going to drag all of these that I've selected onto my Acrobat icon and let go. Acrobat knows that when we drag it onto the icon in the Mac, it's going to force it open in there, and it gives me the option of, do you want single PDFs for each JPEG, or do you want to put them all together into one PDF? If I say no, I will get 6 different PDFs. If I say yes, I'm going to get everything put together into one Acrobat file. And you'll notice up here, while that is processing, we can see it's going through 1 of 3, 1 of 4, all the way through, so I know that everything's coming right together. So with that, I put everything into the page there, and fit to page is Command 0 or Control 0 on the PC. And then I can just use my up and down arrows, and I have gone in and created a quick little PDF right there with everything together. So great shots of everything. And we can see the beautiful Puget Sound area. And I've just made myself an entire PDF right there, 5 pages long, and it shows me right up here, 1 of 5 pages. I can navigate through them as well, and it also gives me the title right here of what my images are on those pages. There we go, just made a PDF. And that pretty much wraps up the class for today. Because from what I understand, there's nothing else to do with a PDF except for a few other little things. So, quick and easy way to make a PDF. So, if you want to create a PDF and you don't know what you can actually create it from, just go under New, Create, or Create New, and there's your list of files right there in the open window. If you have those, you'll be able to create them into a PDF without any problem. Drop and drag them onto the Acrobat icon, and it'll process the whole thing. If you're on the PC, you'll have to drag your icons into an open window. So launch Acrobat when you have the Acrobat application window open, drag them right into there, and that's going to be the equivalent of doing it on the Mac. Okay. So we have other ways that we can create files as well. We've got Create PDF from Screen Capture, Window Capture, Selection Capture. These are unique to the Mac. From the PC, you can actually capture things from the clipboard. So if you're on the PC and you want to capture something that is on your screen, you want to take a quick snapshot of something, which is exactly how I put together all the PDFs that you will get as handouts when you purchase the course, I need to have screenshots of the dialog boxes. I don't want to take a picture of the entire screen. I want to take a picture of just a very particular section. If you're on the PC, you hit Print Screen, it copies your screen to the clipboard, and you can go under File, Create, PDF from Clipboard, and it will make a PDF of that file that you capture. If you are on the Mac, you will get these 3 under your Create window. You will not see them on the PC, but I can do a PDF from a screen capture here, and a screen capture will go in and literally take a quick snapshot of my entire screen, and there's my screen capture. And you see we have the Acrobat window inside the Acrobat window, and it takes a picture of the entire screen. I can also go through and create it from a window capture, and a window capture will go in and it will give me this little camera icon. I hover over what it is that I want to capture, and any palettes, panels, or open documents will then highlight in blue. I go over that, and when I see the highlighted in blue, I can simply click. So if I want to take a picture of my menus here, I take my little camera over there, I click on that, and it will take a picture of that. It's fantastic when you want to go in and take application-specific panels. You can just hover over that panel, snapshot, and you're good. So that was going in and creating it from a window capture. If I want to do it from a selection capture, I'll close out of this capture right here. I want to do a selection capture. Say I'm going in under Tools, and there's something very specific that I want to show you, like under Multimedia. I want to capture this little drop-down window and put it into a PDF. I can go under File, and I can go under Create Selection Capture, and then I get my little cursor and I can click and drag over the area that I want to capture, and this gives me my size right here. If you look at the lower right-hand corner of that cursor, you can see the size in pixels, what it is that you're capturing. So if you're trying to do something for a website where you know you have to have a certain number of pixel size, you can actually see there, if I needed to be 200 pixels wide and 100 high, I can click and drag and make it that size, let go, and it will capture that into a PDF for me right there. So for those of you that are Mac users, you will know that those keyboard shortcuts to do that are already built into the Mac. So Shift-Command-3 will take a picture of the entire screen. Shift-Command-4 will give you your little crosshairs, and Shift-Command-4 with a spacebar tap will then give you your little window capture with the camera. I know that's not completely Acrobat related, but for those of you that know that on the Mac, that's basically what Acrobat has put into in these create files. If you have a scanner hooked up, you can create a PDF directly from the scanner. When you do this, you are going to get scanner-specific software coming up, so there's no point in showing you this, because if you have an Epson scanner or a Kodak scanner, every scanner window is going to be different, so you will see a different interface there. But what this does, you open this up, it takes the PDF, you scan it in, and it converts it right to a PDF for you right there. We can also do a PDF from a web page. So if I want to capture something with a web page, I can do something very simple. If I do a PDF from a web page, I go in, I type in the URL, and so we have a URL that we could use. I don't know, what do bacon do, or is it bacon people? Sure. But okay, so, and this works well on a simple one. Let's see, what do bacon do? Okay, there it is. I'm not going to capture multiple levels here. I want to go in and just capture the first page. So I'm going to start with only the first level right here. I could do the entire site. In this case, I just want to capture the first page here so that somebody can see what the web page looks like. And I'm going to click Create, and it'll go right to the website. Doesn't even open it up in the browser, just copies the whole thing over. Takes a few seconds, and we're going to do kind of a simple page here. And you'll see it's going through because there's lots of links on the page here, which it's establishing. So when I create a PDF of this page right here, it doesn't just give me a screenshot of the page. I can open up the web browser and just take a screenshot of the page here. But what I want is, I want the interactivity of this page. So I want the hyperlinks. I want the things that are built into this page here that will capture this stuff. And Acrobat will do that. So by capturing a web page this way, I'll have those links. And it takes a little bit. I mean, there's not a ton of information that we're getting from that page, but it's going to take a little bit of processing time. So Kathy, how big is your bacon page? Did you build it in strips?
Yes. Well, it's very crispy and
Good.
delicious.
Wonderful.
And it's a scrolling blogger base. So
Okay.
I'm not sure.
So what it's doing is it's going through and it's capturing all the blogs as you go through.
Okay.
So as you go through and do that. So this may take a little bit of time to go through and do that. So we can let that run as we go. May have to stop that there because
Okay.
it may take, the blog may be long. It doesn't go super fast here because it has to translate the stuff. And you can see that we've only got 984K downloaded.
Right.
But it's a really quick and easy way to capture that site. And this may take a bit long, so we may have to go in and just stop that. Yeah, we'll stop that. Okay. But we can go ahead and create it from a much smaller web page. Not that your web page was big. So we'll just use my mom's web page because it's really quick and easy, and it's short. Any questions so far that people have?
Yes, we have a question from Riley Cool. On older versions of Acrobat, I was better able to make text changes on PDFs. But since
Yes.
Acrobat 9, I think my text changes don't save correctly. The type gets jumbled after save and reopen. Font, okay, that's question one.
Yeah. Font issues, understandably so, trying to go in and edit a PDF. We're going to get into editing PDFs there. Editing a PDF, you have a very limited amount that you can actually edit in a PDF. There's a lot of information in there, so going in and actually editing a PDF will give you some parameters, but there's very little that you can do. So it's for minor changes, and I can't stress minor enough. Yeah.
Okay.
So jumping right back to here, this is the just the first page of my mom's website there. Great part with this, I'm going to zoom in here just using Command plus there. These links are active. So any links that are on the page there, I can hover over these and I can actually click on these links right here and it'll open up a web browser and I'll be able to capture that. If I capture the entire site, I will be able to have the entire website here in an interactive PDF that I can send to somebody. It looks and it acts like a website and the links are already built in. I hover over this and you can see when I hover over this, I get the little hand with a W there telling me it's a link to the World Wide Web, and I can click on that. There it is. Link already built in. So you can actually go under the File Create menu and get an interactive PDF from an existing website right there and then send it off. We did this several years ago when I was working for a client for Vail, Colorado, Vail Skiing Resorts. And they wanted to have an interactive PDF on their website to make it look all interactive on the website, but they also wanted people to download it so that then they could take it with their laptops and they can actually get the full interactive experience, which is kind of where the start of this was about 7 years ago. And it blew people away when it's like, oh my gosh, this looks like a web page. If I click on this tab here, it goes to the other page. And it's like, right. And they're just like, that's amazing. Yes, just like the web. You click on something and you go to another page. It's amazing. But people are like, yeah, but it's a PDF. And it's like, right. So very simple interactivity. We just did it just by capturing a web page right there. Beautiful. Okay. So other ways to create right there. We can go and we can combine files into a single PDF, batch create files there. And here's how we can go in and do a batch process of multiple files. This is what I love about Acrobat. If we go into Create and combine files into a single PDF, it doesn't matter what they are, as long as they're from that list of files that when we go under PDF from File, we've got a PNG or a TIFF or a PDF file, whatever. If I combine files into a single PDF here, I get an open window that allows me to go through and take these files and put them all together. Doesn't matter what size, I can just go and add files. So with this, with my combined files open, I click on the Add Files drop-down menu. I can add files, I can add whole folders, I can also capture. I can also add any open files that I have. I may have multiple PDFs open on the screen that I want to add in there, as well as other files. Pretty easy to do. I'm just going to start with the Add Files here, and I can go in and I can pick and choose what I want. Again, when you choose the Create or the Add, here's all my list of things that I can do. HTML files, 3D files, PDF files, you name it. So I'm going to choose a couple files from here, and I add those in there. I'll add some more, navigate through a few other things here. Let's see, we've got some iStock photo. Oh, let's see, we've got our piggy bank and our little fishy, and oh, some bacon too, yes. Because when you add bacon to anything, it makes it taste better. So when I combine these files here, the order that you see here is the order that they're going to be in the PDF. If I want to rearrange them, sure, I can do it later. I can also do it now. 6 of one, half a dozen of the other. It's kind of archaic the way they do this. You can't just click and drag. You click on the item, and then you have to use the incredibly intuitive move up and move down buttons. Okay, this is like you're operating it on your cell phone. Not a smartphone, just a cell phone. So I have to click on this, and I moved it down the list or up the list right there. I can also remove it as well. And then I also can control how the file size turns out in the final PDF here by using these 3 different icons. Well, do you want a small PDF, a medium-sized PDF, or a large PDF? Which means what? Exactly. So if you hover over these, you get the little tool hint that tells you smaller file size is suitable for on-screen display. And basically, this is going to be what they call smallest file size. And we're going to show you exactly what those conversion settings mean. We can go into the default size here, which is fine. So this is going to be like a high-quality print. And then we can get to this one which uses even better quality. So it's going to be a larger PDF, but you're going to have including fonts in there as well as better rendering of your images as you have. So not overly intuitive with the different icon sizes there, but I'm sure you get the picture. And then we also have, do you want to put this into a single PDF or a PDF portfolio? 2 different things. We'll show you both ways there. If you want more options, guess what? Click on the options button and you can go through and basically check out these options here. And converts all the files to a PDF when creating a portfolio, a few other items right there. Most people are like, I'll never get to that, but it's there. So I'm going to turn this into a single PDF. I've got that checked right here. This is my order as it stands right there. And if I want to see how big these are going to be, well, I've got my sizes of my files that are going in. I've created a large file size here, so it's going to give me good quality. And I click Combine the Files, and it runs through very quickly and converts everything, puts a check marks next to it so we can see, and there is my overall file. I'll use Command 0 to fit in space. And when I put this together, they call this a binder. So I've got binder 1, and that's basically the first binder I've created for the day. I've got 6 pages, so I can navigate through all 6 pages, and I can see everything that I've got in here, and there's my PDF. There it is. There's everything. Okay. I really don't know what size this PDF is because I really haven't talked about the quality and the sizes and the rendering capabilities of it. But for now, when people create a PDF, they're just so thrilled to get a PDF. It's like they fall off their chair in happiness. They're like, oh my gosh, look what I just did. And it's great. Now we'll show you what you just did. So I'm going to close out of this, and I'm going to walk you through creating this again, but I'm going to do this as a PDF portfolio. So what's the difference between a single PDF and a PDF portfolio? Well, there's a big difference when it comes to putting these things together. They all look the same when we put them together. They all combine into a PDF here, but there's a few other things that happen that are very important, and it becomes more important when we actually get into like Acrobat forms. Because if you create Acrobat forms and you put it together into a single PDF, you can run into huge issues, so portfolios will work much better. So again, I'm going to go in here and select my items and put them in the same order that I had. But this time I'm going to choose a PDF portfolio. And you'll see it no longer says Create Binder, it says Create PDF Portfolio. I'll click on that and everything comes together. Processes it in the same way, doesn't look any different. The end result looks substantially different. So what we end up with here is a completely different looking window. And one thing with Acrobat is you will get very different looking windows, and this is where it can get really confusing. Because this looks very much like the Acrobat window here, but it isn't. It's kind of like a different interface within Acrobat here. And what we have now is we have what's called a PDF portfolio. We have a PDF here, but it is not technically a single PDF. My last file that I did, I had a single PDF with 6 pages in the PDF. Now I have a portfolio, which is basically a PDF with multiple PDFs inside there. These live all by themselves. This is a single PDF. This single PDF can be multiple pages in there. So say I'm putting together an RFP, or I'm putting together details, or I'm selling my house and I've got all these papers, and somebody sent me a PDF with 10 pages, another legal document with 24 pages. I want to keep those as kind of like their own entity, but be able to go through each set of PDFs. The portfolio is kind of like a book with chapters. And so each one of these becomes a chapter, PDF in and of itself. But this gives you a whole lot more fun that you can do and create and wow factor, everything else. It's still just a PDF. If you want to go through, on the right-hand side, we've got our layout details, so we can add contents. After we've created the portfolio, we can add other files. We can add folders. We can add web content to the portfolio as well. But we can also go through and change the look. So we've got all of our different layouts here where you can do cool, fun stuff with it. This is what people like if you want to do a really simple presentation. And people have given you PDFs from multiple sources. You can throw them all together really nicely into a fun-looking or a really easy way to look at these portfolios. So keep these in mind that each one of these is still its own separate PDF file, but it's just put together in a nice-looking way. You can have lots of fun stuff. You get the visual themes where you can, change the layouts here, do the tech, office, modern, import these things, change the fonts. Whole bunch of great stuff that you can do. People love this because it makes it look really cool and it's fun. It's just a PDF. Simple to edit, simple to create, simple to remove, and simple to change. So we could spend lots of time on this here, but once you get it into this mode here, you can kind of play around with this stuff, and it's pretty intuitive. It's hard to break. And if you do, it's really simple to fix. Just go back and do it again, right there. So lots of cool stuff that you can do with a portfolio. Definitely more interesting looking, but just as functional as well. So when we've gone through and actually created all these files, this is pretty much what we've got from the Create menu. So lots of different ways we can create a file. Pretty simple and easy. I like the drop and drag method. Brings it right into a PDF just fine. So I don't know how much more we actually have to do with Acrobat here.
When you're looking at the portfolio, if you were
Yes.
to send that file to a client, would it still show up as just one single PDF document?
Absolutely, just one single PDF document. It's just a nice little package that it all goes in. And when you open that up, it just has all these in here. It just kind of rearranges it a little bit different.
Gotcha. So in the example before where you had a PDF that had several pages and the portfolio, to the client or to whoever you're sending it to, it's still going to appear to be just one single source.
It looks and acts as one PDF. Yep, There's
Awesome.
no attachments, there's nothing else that you have to worry about. That's great. From a simplicity standpoint, it's just that easy. Yep. You just open it up with Adobe Reader. If you have, don't have the full version of Acrobat, works the same, everything else. There's different functionalities here, and when we actually do forms and you put them all together, that's where the portfolio is actually required. But it's a great way to make something look really cool and still have it be just like a PDF and nobody knows any different.
Awesome. Thanks.
And we have a couple questions from the internet.
Sure.
First one is from Fashion TV in Singapore. Hello. Most of us photographers are photographers. What kind of image settings and compression is perfect for conversion into PDF?
What a perfect segue. Fantastic.
Leave it to
Absolutely.
Fashion TV.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Well, here's the thing. What we've done here is we've created a PDF, and a lot of people are like, wow, this is great, I'm going to jump right into doing it. But the one thing I alluded to was the fact that you don't really know what the conversion settings are. How do I know what quality I'm getting out of this? When we went in and we created the files and we went ahead and put them all into a single PDF here, and we chose these files here, little icon, medium icon, big icon, great. Okay, so I did the little icon setting. And what does that mean? Well, here's the thing. We have to know how we convert these files. How big do you want them? How much space do you want to take up? Because these can get fairly large if you keep all the quality large, but you can also render a file pretty useless if you cut out so much information that you won't be able to search content inside there. You will lose the font, so you'll lose the specific look and feel of this. So we have to know how, when we create a PDF using Acrobat, what are we doing? So a couple things that we have to go through. One of the things we have to do is we have to go in and we have to set the conversion settings so that when we open it up, how this works. Well, you'll notice here, going through all the menus really quick, there is nothing that says, hey, conversion settings. And I promise you that they aren't there, even though we go through them really fast. So then what we're going to do is we're going to go over to our tool section here, and we're going to go under the print production tab here, which isn't there. And people are like, well, where do I find this stuff? Well, here's the deal, folks. With Acrobat, as with many of the new applications, they hide a lot of stuff. And if you're a power user, then you should know where this stuff is because you'll need to know to find it. You are missing tabs over here under the tool section. When it loads, they're all there. They're just hidden. So go under what I call the little cheese grater right here, which is the show or hide panels under our tools. Click on that, and you'll notice all the ones that are not checked. Those are the ones that you don't see. The ones that you don't see, we need print production and document processing here. So I'm just going to go and I'm going to click on all of these so that we can go and we can turn these all on. So we have all these right there. And get all my tools there in the panes. And I'm sure people are like, that's where they hid everything. Yes, that's where they hid it all, right there. So when we go in, what we want to do is we want to go into print production here. And we are going to set our conversion settings this way. Acrobat is two parts. It has the main part, which everybody sees, creating the PDFs, editing the PDFs, but it has the engine that actually makes all the work happen, which is Acrobat Distiller. And Distiller has been around ever since Acrobat has been around, and it is a standalone application that is packaged with it. You almost never see it, but this is the engine that converts it. If you have InDesign, it's already built in there, but Distiller is what creates all of our files. Acrobat displays them. So when I launch Distiller here, You could actually go onto your hard drive under the applications and search for Distiller as well, but if you want to do that through here, it's under the hidden print production bar right there. So here's Acrobat Distiller. This is it. I mean, there's Acrobat Distiller as we know it. Okay, few little settings here, not much, pretty simple stuff. And we're going to go into the default settings here at the very top. And these are the default settings. So we have standard, smallest file size, PDF X1A, X3, all this other stuff. And so I'm sure people have beliefs out there that, you know, their next door neighbor's friend's dog told them to go ahead and use this all the time. Well, let me just run through what it is that we use, why we use it, and what you should do it for. So starting off with the standard default setting here. Default setting here tells you what it is. Use these to create PDFs suitable for viewing and printing business documents. Business documents means nothing with graphics. Okay? Business documents means you have a legal document. It's probably set in Times New Roman. It doesn't matter what the font is. It just has to go ahead and give you content. This is going to give you an exceptionally small file because it is going to suck every last bit of life out of the PDF. It will just give you the type and it doesn't have to look pretty. That's it. Okay? So let me just tell you right now, unless it's all text and you don't care what it looks like, don't even bother to use the standard setting, which, by the way, that's what we've been using because it's the standard setting. We can go ahead and use smallest file size. Guess what? It's the cousin to standard and it's just as bad. Smallest file size is great if you want to send something that's very graphic heavy and you want to send it to a client or something, just for on-screen display purposes only, just to have them give a rough idea of what you're looking at. It does not include the fonts, which is mean if you do something in a particular font on your machine and the person viewing it doesn't have the fonts, it will go ahead and substitute your fonts from your computer, changing the look and feel of it. It renders all the images with very low quality, throws away a lot of information, and you get a very low quality but very fast rendering PDF. Takes up very little space in email and on servers, but it will go ahead and give you an absolutely low-end PDF. Okay? So unless it's absolutely important that file size is the key thing, stay away from standard and smallest file size unless you don't care what it looks like. And if you don't care what it looks like, fax it over. Forget about using PDFs. Okay? So where it comes into real usability here, high quality print. When you're dealing with high quality print here, you've got a printer at home, and so you went to your, sister's wedding and she decided to make this great little thing and send it to you. She calls you up and says, okay, what do I need to send this? I want everybody to print this out. High quality print is great. You got a printer at home, you got some nice glossy paper, you want it to render nicely, but you don't want to jam up your inbox with a 40 megabyte PDF file. High quality print, just fine. Decent quality rendering of the images there, doesn't take up a lot of space, but doesn't compress the images either. If she's done a particular font underneath the pictures and done everything in all caps script and you want to retain that gorgeous looking type that she spent so much time, then this is going to keep that typeface. You don't have to worry about it substituting anything. Decent quality results, going to go ahead and balance file size with nice quality output. If you want to get into higher quality things, you're going to be doing some type of presentation, you want to print off 10 posters, you want to do a presentation for a client, you've got 30 binders that you want to put together and you wanted this to look nice and you're going to send this off to a quick print place or digitally print it and they really didn't give you any specs on how to do it. Press quality is going to give you a little bit better. Slightly larger file size, and I mean slightly, maybe a couple 100K, 500K, depending on the quality of the images or the number of pages here. But this is high quality stuff. You can print digitally, it's going to look good, the PDF is going to represent well on screen. No, it's not going to be the smallest file size, but you will get decent quality out of the whole thing. So these are for just decent stuff. You want to make it look nice, you want to have it print quickly, not jam up email inboxes, wonderful. When it comes down to actually getting to higher end print production stuff, then we have these different settings. We have PDF A, PDF X. PDF A is for archival quality, so this is when you're going to create a PDF that's going to last over many, many years without disintegrating. No, this is just how the whole thing is written. We have PDF E, we have PDF X, and we have PDF A. So E is for electronic, A is for archival, and X is for graphic production. So PDF X1A was kind of the first settings that we used when everything started to go digitally, when we no longer were processing native files and we had to send something across to like Singapore to be printed. And we needed the same settings here as we had there. We could basically set these all into a PDF, bake them all in there so that we were dealing with similar settings right there. PDF X1A does a lot of different things. And you can see here with the notes here, it is for graphic content. And what it does is it goes through and it begins to render files and colors in certain ways, keeps type together, doesn't compress the images too much, and makes sure that everything is there so you're going to get good quality output, but it's going to follow industry standards there. Newer ones have come up, PDF X3, X4. Those are newer versions and newer settings of these. So if you are looking for really good graphic output, then you do a well-created file with high-res images, everything put together very nicely in the file, and you can render these as a PDF X1A or X3, and you should be able to print this at any place that is going to do offset, digital, anything else. Not a problem, and those are the settings. So, but those are just the default settings. What happens if you want to create settings for your own? Simple. In Distiller, we can go under the Settings menu, and I can actually go in or edit or add PDF settings. Really doesn't make any difference, okay? If I choose Edit PDF Settings, here's what I have. And right now I'm starting off with PDF X1A because that was my default setting. Doesn't matter what you start with, you're going to change it anyway. So under the General tab here, I start off with the compatibility, Acrobat 4, 5, 6, 7, or 8. Certain things, if anybody is using Acrobat Reader 4, it's so antiquated that, but we can make it compatible back to that point. I usually do Acrobat 6 or higher for anybody who's going to be able to do this stuff. There's a lot of other features that are available with 6 or higher. 6 allows us to have layers, 7 allows us to have video embedding, but in this case, we're just worried about graphics and text at this point. So I'm able to go in and set the compatibility here, a few other things, embed the page thumbnails they can see. But where it comes to really important things are rendering the images. How are my images going to be rendered? If I was doing smallest file size, my compression would be maximum, or the minimum image quality, which is maximum compression, which literally just takes a nice image and completely runs over it and obliterates it completely. You can barely tell what it is. So the higher the image quality here, the more space it takes up. Downsampling of images here. If I have an image that I've put into my InDesign file or in some graphic program that's 600 dpi here, there's no need for all that information. Acrobat will go in and downsample anything that's over a certain amount, and you can apply these settings here. You can say it's going to render it down to this. When we're using smallest file size, it may go down to 72 dpi. No matter how big the file was to begin with, it will just suck all the goodness right out of it. Like from a grape to a raisin. Gone. So I can set these settings here for whatever it is that I want to have. For color images, grayscale images, and monochrome images too. I can have it compress, I can have no compression. Less compression, bigger file size, better quality images if I start off with good quality images. So I have full reign over this. If there's something that you don't know and how to run through this here, basically what you can do is you can try the different default settings here, same file. Just try these different settings and see what quality is going to work well for you. Go in and create your own and see if rendering these higher or lower, compressing or not compressing is going to give you different file sizes. Just try it. You'll find something that works well for you. Fonts, generally, if it's not standard or smallest file size, it is going to embed all the fonts that are used in that document. By subsetting the fonts there, it will give you all the fonts that are used. So if you use the number 7, the $sign is going to go ahead and put those in. So I can include other fonts in there just in case I wanted to do editing, but there's limitations on what I can edit in that file. So basically if you render the file with embedding the fonts, those fonts that are there are in that PDF so that they'll display on everybody's machine without any problem. Does not guarantee you that you can actually edit the fonts even though they're embedded. That's a different story and we'll get to that as well. Color conversion here. The PDF X files here, X1A, X3, and so on, these are for print. So they are going to go ahead and, by default, convert all of our images to CMYK. So if I'm using spot colors, it'll keep those spot colors as well. Now here's an interesting thing. If you have RGB images, it will convert them all to CMYK. But if you're doing something for the web in which you want to have high quality print, you can convert all of your images to sRGB if you want to. You can also do no color conversion, so the printer can do it, but we have all these different color conversions here. In the standard and the smallest file size, it converts everything to RGB because it's for display purposes only, not for print. Less information, less file size. So we've got that. We can also set up all our working spaces there, and then we've got some advanced settings, which is a whole bunch of great checkboxes, which we're not going to go through. We can do that in our print production class when we do that, but not here. So once I set these PDF settings, I can then choose Save As, and I can save this as my, my new settings. So these are my new settings that I've just created. I've set the fonts, what I want to embed, I've set how it's going to render, the quality, and all those other settings, and it's going to go right into my settings folder here on my hard drive under Distiller. I click Save, and my new default settings pop up here with my new settings, and I can create as many as I want. You create them here, you will be able to go into InDesign, and you will be able to use these exact same settings you created. InDesign picks these up, because when you create them in Distiller or in InDesign, it puts them in the exact same location. So I don't have to recreate these as well. Now, there are times where someone will give you the settings, and they have very specific settings that they want to have. So under the settings here, this is where we can choose Add PDF Settings. And so long time ago in my days of print production here, when I used to work at all these advertising agencies, we did a lot of work for Time, Life, Good Housekeeping, everything else. And you can download these right from people's websites. So I went under the settings and I chose to add Adobe PDF settings, and Time actually has all these settings. The New Yorker, New York Times, whatever. And if I'm doing an ad here, here is my actual PDF settings that Time wants. And any PDF setting is called a job option. So if you see this thing that says .job options, those are the PDF settings already built in for you, so you don't have to go through that entire process of setting the compression, the rendering of everything else. Once I choose this and I click Open, it automatically puts it into my Distiller, so I can render it that way, and it's also available through InDesign as well. That's simple. You want to see what this looks like? Sure, go to the default settings here, and you can edit the settings that we have, and I can see how they're going to do the images. Sampling is off, they want zip compression here, they embed the fonts there, color, whatever you send them gets left unchanged, they process it there. That's simple. You can create your own, but there's also ones that are out there for you as well. So when you choose in Distiller here what it is that you want to use for the default setting, now when I create any PDFs through Acrobat, that's the setting that I'm going to use. So I have to make sure that I have my print production tab open by going under my tool panel and making sure my print production is available, open up Distiller, choose or modify or create my own default settings. Now everything else that we've done, now I know it's going to be created as. Or I think that's how it goes. I've convinced myself of it. But now you know how to create high quality ones, and you can change that at any time. Absolutely. So any other questions that we have that we can answer for you?
Absolutely. This is another question from Fashion TV, and this was just a quick clarification. Can we assume that the single PDF file size is smaller than the PDF portfolio?
Yes, because there's more content in there. And how big or how small? Well, that depends on the content inside as well. The interface and things like that really isn't much at all. But try it. Go ahead and render them both ways, and you're probably talking a matter of 50 or 100K difference if you have equal file sizes or equal files on both ends. Yeah. Cool. PDFs are great because the main thing that takes up space is images. Everything else is really, really, really small. In fact, when we show you how to do a PDF optimization, we'll show you the usage there, and it's like 99.6% is images and 0.4% is everything else. So if you strip out everything else, it's like your file size goes from 996K to 986K, and you're like, oh, that's, got under my limit. So images take up the most space.
Okay, and another question from Net Ingenuity. I know you can upload a PDF to the media library of WordPress. Can the same be done with a PDF portfolio?
That I don't know, but it should be exactly the same thing because it's just a PDF. The portfolio is, just think of a book with no chapters and a book with chapters. That's the difference between a single and a PDF portfolio. A portfolio is just a PDF with chapters delineated inside of it with multiple PDFs. A single PDF is just pages of PDFs. That's all. So you can try it and see. It may or may not, but
Cool.
it depends.
It's
But
a great way to
actually,
think
it's a
about it.
Great.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So they can try it and they can let us know.
Okay,
Please do.
sounds great,
Yes.
yes.
Yeah, Ingenuity, another regular.
Yes.
Okay, does the dimension of the PDF take its portrait or landscape orientation from its source, or do we preset the page setup?
There is no page setup here. Wonderful thing about PDF is this. There is no overall size to a PDF in reality. It is what each page actually is. So in this case, you'll see that we've got, a horizontal and we've got a vertical here. So if we were to go ahead and print this out in 8.5 by 11, every page would just be reduced to fit to 8.5 by 11. If we wanted to print each page out, we would need to print it out on large format there, and it would just simply print out actual size. So I can have horizontal, vertical, I can have multiple size pages in here, and it just is what it is. So there is no way that I can go under document setup here and just say, hey, make this 8.5 by 11. It will print out as 8.5 by 11 when I physically print it out, but the PDF is just the size. And we're going to get to that a little bit more when we go into the crop feature, is when we can actually understand what size these things really are.
And do you have time for a few more?
I sure do.
Okay.
Yep.
Guest 29787 asks, do you know if these interactive PDFs are 508 compliant?
They can be. And what 508 compliance is, for those people who don't know that kind of speak, is basically accessibility for a whole bunch of purposes. People with disabilities, being able to read on reader devices, things like that. And we do have an entire accessibility section right here that's hidden in the tools that you can actually go through and you can run through the accessibility. And accessibility means being able to have metadata on images. So people who are visually impaired can hover over the images and give a description of it. Being able to read the copy, and you may have images in there that are images of copy that aren't actually copy. So they will convert them to readable copy there, and we'll show you the OCR. It'll also make sure that the articles are in the correct order, so that when people read through there, they actually read them in the correct order. Because if you put it together in a certain way, it may not flow that way, and we can set it up so that it actually flows through that. Bookmarks, so that people can go from chapter to chapter, things like that. So this is full-on accessibility here, and you'll see we can actually run accessibility checks here to make sure that these fall into compliance here, and we have options as well. So a whole bunch of things to do. But yes, you can, and you can make absolutely sure of that as well. And that's under that accessibility tab.
Great, thank you.
Very cool. Perhaps one more before
Sure.
we keep going. And that is from Chick Design. What is a good PDF setting for creating portfolio samples of design work to be downloadable on a designer's website?
Well, that's a good question. And so what I would do with that is I would make sure that when you're setting in Distiller, you can go ahead and use high quality print, because you want to make sure that you get really nice looking images, graphics, logos, things like that. And if you have pixel-based items and you have vector-based items, you want to have them kind of have that balance between that as well. You want to retain the fonts there, but you don't want them to be too big. I would start off with high quality print, and then I would go ahead and take the settings and kind of tweak them to see how big the files are, and then have somebody download them and print them off and see how that is. Because graphic portfolios can get very large in size. So start off with a high quality there, and make sure with the high quality settings you have that. Make sure that your fonts are always embedded, and you can control the downsampling of your images there, maybe compress them a little bit more or cut the quality down a bit so that you favor that balance of nice on-screen display as well as printing them out so they print fast and they download quickly, as well as not taking up too much space on the server. So start with that. It's a great starting point, and you can certainly tweak it as well.
Great.
Go from there. We've gotten through creating PDFs, how to be able to go in and control and understand the basic settings of how they're going to render, single PDFs, portfolios as well. So what we can also get into here is dealing with pages inside a PDF. So we have our tools, and we can call up all of our page items on the right-hand side. On the left-hand side here, we also have our page thumbnails, which we can swing out, and we can set the size of our page thumbnails and also be able to review our file here. Thumbnails have been around forever here. The tools are new to Acrobat 10, actually grouped into this order here. So a couple things. If you're going to be doing a lot of PDF rearranging, adding, putting stuff together, taking things apart here, you can go into your pages here. We've got rotate, delete, extract, replace, crop, and split the document. Cool thing about this is you will want to go in and basically use these tools on a regular basis. So instead of having to go under the Tools panel, you can actually go in here and you see when we hover over any of the tools, we get these little tear-off icons, which they highlight here and we get that little dotted thing. We can go in and we can put these into basically our quick tool area right up here. And I've already put a couple in here. Delete the page, go in and rotate the page here, as well as insert other pages. So if I want to go into extract, I can simply go to my tools here, or I can click and I can drag this right up here, and that will end up as a little icon right there. Not that we need more icons, because the yellow arrow going to the left and the yellow arrow going to the right, you know, it's like, okay, what's what? But if you want to use these on a frequent basis, you can throw these right here. On the left-hand side, if your page thumbnails do not come up and you don't see these tabs over on the side here, they're deeply buried. So you go under the View menu, under Show Hide, Navigation Panels, and this is where you find the panels. They've decided to hide them very, very, very well through there. And this always gets me because I forget where they are because it's so deep and it's so buried as well. You can also go, much easier way, just simply right-click on the panels over here so that you can actually get to the panels that you want to have. Much easier. But in that case, View, Show, Hide, Navigation Panels, then get to what it is that you want right there. So once we have our page thumbnails up here, we also have our little cheese grater, as I call it, which is our page thumbnail options. And this is going to give us pretty much all the same items that we have from our tools on the right-hand side here. This is from older versions. There's a holdover here. They try to make it a little bit more graphically interesting on the right-hand side. So multiple places that we can access this. Simple and easy stuff. You want to rotate a page? Great, you rotate the page. How do you want to rotate it? Do you want to rotate all the pages or particular pages here, or just do the odd and even pages as you want to? Just do the landscape pages, just do the portrait pages. So maybe the portrait ones I want to go in and rotate a certain direction so that they're all one direction. Great, I can do that, and it simply rotates all the pages. Delete the page here. You click delete, and it will go ahead and delete the page that you are on. And you can choose that as well, or you can just scroll through your page thumbnail here, click on any one of these, and click on the trash can icon right there, which will delete the selected pages. If you want more than one selected, you can hold down your Command key and delete multiple pages there as well. Lots of different ways to go ahead and delete. What's the difference between delete and extract? Oh, I don't know. Delete gets rid of them completely. Extract takes them out of there and puts them into a separate PDF for you. I may not want all of these together. I may want this in a separate PDF. Somebody sent me all these and I just want these two photos to go off in another PDF here. I can select these two files, click the extract button, and it will go ahead and take these pages out. I can delete them from the existing file. I've got 5 pages right now. It'll take these 2 pages, delete them from a PDF of 5 pages, but take those 2 files and put them into their own PDF. I can also extract these pages as separate files too, so page 1 and 2 will be 2 separate PDFs from there as well. I'm going to leave these pages in here, but I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to take these 2 out, click OK, and I now get a new file that says pages from the name of my document. My document was untitled, so it says here's my pages from this untitled document, and sure enough, pages 1 of 2 right there. They're still in my original file because I chose not to delete them from the options dialog box, but I've got my pages right there, already into a PDF, ready to go. I can just save it and go from there. I can also replace pages, and I like this feature because this picture right here isn't the right picture. I'm supposed to put another picture in here, so I can go to that page in the panel there, click replace, and I can then go in here and make sure that I have all my files viewable, and I can choose this file right here. This is the file that I want to replace that other file with. I do this, I select that file, I click OK, and it comes up. So we're going to replace the existing page from this page to this page with this page right here. And I do that. Are you sure you want to do that? Yes. And it goes in and swaps in that picture for me. Gets rid of the last one, puts in the new one right there. Okay. File size becomes an issue. You may have 60, 80, or 100 pictures in here, and you may want to go and take this and split it into a document so it won't be 40 megabytes. You know, I want to have nice little bite-sized pieces. If I choose the split document right here, this will allow me to split the document based on pages, or by file size, or by bookmarks. Multiple ways to do it. If I want it to be just 10 pages long and I have a 40-page document, I say maximum of 10 pages, and it separates it out for me. If I have a really large file and I know that my limits are going to be 10 megabytes for each PDF, I can say make each PDF 9 megabytes and break it out into as many PDFs as I need so that I can go and email them for the basis of my email server. I can also do all my top-level bookmarks there, and with my output options, I can choose what kind of bookmarks, how I name them, everything else. So it's truly a robust feature that you can do so that if you break it apart, people don't know. Don't say, oh, which one is this? It's labeled, it's numbered, so you can tell how it goes. So it basically breaks it apart in chapters based on your bookmarks, which is an interactive feature, which we'll show you as well. So I also can apply this to multiple documents. Somebody's given me 3 PDFs there with lots of pages. I have all the PDFs open. I can split all the documents really nicely. The one feature that I skipped over was crop here because I'm going to open up another PDF here, so this makes a little bit more sense when we're doing the crop folder. And I've got some building plans here, because that's another thing that I like to do is build things. And I want to send this to somebody, but I don't want them to see this entire page. Now, these building plans are usually 24 by 36, and you wouldn't know that just by looking at the PDF, but that's the size that they are. Well, how do you tell what size they are? Well, the crop tool will tell you what size the page is, but I have some very relevant information just for this one person that I want to send it to, and I don't want to send them this whole thing. Okay? So if I go to the crop section right here, I can click on the crop, and I simply draw over the crop area like this, and then I double click inside that crop area that I just drew. Again, a little dialog box comes up, and this actually will tell me how big this whole thing is, as well as my crop. So right here, I'm basically showing my crop box right there. Everything's in inches, and this is how far it's been cropped, top, bottom, left, and right overall. So I can, in a very archaic way, I can actually adjust my crops right there. If I set to 0 here, it's going to set this whole thing back to the full-size crop. And what's the size of my page right here? 24 by 36. Okay? So if I go in and I take my crop here, draw with my crop tool, double-click inside, it tells me that I can get this down to 18 by 10. Well, maybe I want this to be, for 11 by 17. I can bring the crop in a little bit more just to make absolutely sure. Problem is I can't go and click on this picture and crop it. I have to use the little up, down, left, right buttons in order to pull the crop in, everything else. Okay? So if I have it this way, I can crop all my pages, or I can crop from a specific range of pages. I may have information on a page like a header and a footer or a logo that I don't want on there. Large document, I can crop the page down to lose the bottom sections there. When I do this, I am not actually getting rid of the information. I'm just hiding it. So I can crop things that I don't want people to see, and anybody who has knowledge of this that knows it's been cropped, we can always uncrop it, even though Acrobat tells you you can't. You can. I can go ahead and choose the page size right here, and I can do a custom page size. So I can set it up that it's going to be like 11 by 17, and I can also control where the center of this is. So here's where I can physically change the page size. It's almost like document setup, but not quite. Okay. So I'll just keep it the fixed size of this. I click OK, and it crops everything down. You'd have no idea that this was cropped because there's no other way than going under the crop tool to actually see where we can put this information in. So I've got everything here. I can go in and print this. Everything looks great. Now, if I knew that this was cropped, I could go in to my crop tool and just double click on the page. I didn't even have to draw a crop. I can just double click on the page. And I can see very clearly that there's more information to this. So I can set this to 0 right here, which is going to set all my parameters to 0, and that will go ahead and undo the crop, like so, and I get it right back. So I haven't lost the information at all. And sure enough, it brings everything right back to where it is. When we did packaging design, this was really handy because a lot of people cannot think in a flat form, so the clients would ask us to send every panel separately. So I'd take one PDF, crop every single panel there, and as we do, then I could save that as another PDF, and so they could just scroll through the whole thing. It was the same PDF, just cropped differently on every single page. Now, easy way to do that? Simple. I can go in and I can go under my drop-down menu right here, and I can create other PDFs that I want to. Let's see, get my pages right back there. And I'm just going to go in and duplicate my PDF. People, I'm sure, are like, what did he just do? I don't know. Let me show you how to do this. You notice how there is no duplicate here? What I did is I went into my Pages panel right here, and I went in and Option on the Mac or Control in the PC, Option click and drag in the Pages panel. I now have duplicate pages right here. This is how I can go in and crop different sections, all within the same PDF, quick and easy. So first page, I want to crop one section, go to the crop. This is what I want to see for the detail. I double click on this. Yes, crop this just from page 1. There we go. There's my first page. Second page, I want to crop this. Take my crop tool, draw over it, double click, make sure it's just on this page here, click OK. Third page, I want to go ahead and do the framing plan, double click on that. I have that all. There we go. Page 1 is that detail, page 2 is that detail, page 3, it's all the exact same PDF. Really easy. Like I said, there really isn't much more to know about Acrobat, except for like 600 or 700 more things, which is why it's a 2-day class. And we use this all the time. Because when you're dealing with an overwhelming PDF here, it just makes it so much easier to go through and do it this way. But nice and simple. But like I said, you notice how there is no duplicate page feature in here? Yeah. So those are one of those things. Great tip, I'd have to say. Yes. I like that. So the replace page feature is something we're also going to show you that is fantastic for forms. Sure, we can go in and we swapped out one picture for another one. When it comes to Acrobat forms, this replace feature is the one that you will fall in love with. And what happens is you design the entire page, you convert everything to forms, you get it done, and at the last minute the client calls up and says, oh, can we make a change? You've got your forms all built and everything. The replace page feature comes in handy. And no, I won't tell you until we get to that point. That's what they call a teaser. Okay. So going down to insert pages down here, we can choose insert page from a file, and we can go in and choose from any PDF file as well as any other one. So it will actually render and create into a PDF if something isn't, or it'll take an existing PDF as it stands. So say I want to insert from file here, and I want to take one of my PDF pages from another PDF. I click select, and it says, where do you want to import this from? Well, before or after this page. So I'm going to say after the last page right here. I click OK, and it goes ahead and takes that entire PDF and puts it right in there as well. Wonderful. You can do it that way. We also have more insert options. Do I want to insert it from a clipboard? Add PDF right here. And this is how I can actually create a blank new PDF. Remember when I said when you go into the File menu, there is no new? Not just go in and create a new PDF here, just give me a blank PDF so I can do something with, because you can't. There are times where we want to go in and we want to create a blank page. We've got 35 pages. We need to set this up for printing. I need to have something that's equally divisible by 4. For the printing world, you got to have that. So I've got 35 pages, I just need a page. I need to make this so I've got evenly divisible by 4. This is under my More Insert option, Insert Blank Page. Could they vary it any further? I don't think so. So insert a blank page, and I can choose where it is at the last page there, and I can do that so that I have the right number of pages in my document. Then if you truly wanted to, you can put this page intentionally left blank. That's how you do it. So we can create a blank page here, but it takes time. There it is, hidden nicely under there as well. So there's our basics of going in, being able to edit those pages. Now, changing the order of these pages. Simple. Go to your page thumbnails here, And you can click and drag these page thumbnails around in any place that you want. Just click on the thumbnail, drag it all around, and it just changes the order right there for you. Nice and easy to do. I'm going to expand this a little bit so we can see that a little bit more. There we go. If you have any other page options here, not all of the page options are under the tool panels on the right-hand side. So if you click on the cheese grater on the left-hand side here, this is going to call up all the other items that you want. A couple of the things here is being able to go in and set page numbers, as well as being able to print the pages, embed the page thumbnails, or remove the page thumbnails. So what does this actually mean? Well, in order to save space in a PDF, you have the choice of embedding the page thumbnails, which renders the pages, the thumbnails of the pages, so when somebody calls it up, they have everything right there. Or it does it when you open it up. If you open up the Pages panel on a very large document, you'll see them building the thumbnails as they go. Embedding the page thumbnails increases the file size slightly, but then you don't have to wait for them to render when you open up the PDF. So I can embed all the page thumbnails, so when I open it up, I see the thumbnails right there really quick. Maybe something nice for something that's graphic intensive and somebody's on a slow machine, I can automatically embed those. Or if it's taking up too much space and causing too much hassle, I can just remove them. Somebody opens the PDF and then you'll have to wait for that to render. Gives you a smaller PDF file size, but also saves space as well. And then of course we can make the page thumbnails larger or smaller by doing that. Last thing, we can go under the page properties. And the page properties allow us to go in here and set up certain orders like row order, column order, and this is basically how you tab through the pages. This will make more sense when we use forms because tab structures are extremely important. When somebody asked about the 508 accessibility there, tab order and tab accessibility, we use the tab key a lot to get through web pages. This is something that's imperative that you set up so that it reads the exact same way you intended when you designed the whole thing. You can also go through and deal with your page actions, things like that. So that's pretty much what we have. Insert pages, delete, replace, extract. We can go in, we can number our pages as well, and we're going to hold off on that actually until we get back from the break because we're going to do our headers, footers, watermarks, PDF optimization, reducing the file size of things and making things awesome.